So I have to start the video over again. We are discussing chapters 56 through 65 in Conversations with God. And just wanted to discuss some of the things that we heard in the book. So who would like to go first?
One thing that jumped out for me in just about everything that went through here is that I don't want to call it religion, because Buddhism is not a religion, it's a way of living. But a lot of the principles that were discussed were very close to what you hear when you dabble in Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
Dabble in what?
Buddhism.
Buddhism.
Yeah. There's many branches, just like there are different branches of Catholicism. You have the one that I like the best is actually Hinduism, because they have so many colorful deities. But the deities aren't actually different gods, they're different aspects of the human being. Okay, that's what all those deities are. They're different aspects of the physical human being. But that statement, that I am, that was right in the beginning of it. Okay, there's a short two-syllable mantra that says that I am. It's so and you say it silently. And when you say so, it's on the inhale, and you ride from your bottom chakra to your crown chakra, and then hum, you go the other direction.
Okay.
So it's a self-affirming mantra. But that I am, that's really one of the roots.
I know it's to be very powerful. I have been using an I am statement that it's oddly enough, I read it in a book and then I started adopting it and taking it into my heart, and anytime I use it as something to replace a thought. If a thought comes in that's not desirable, I replace it with I am whole, perfect, strong,
Absolutely.
Powerful, lovely, harmonious, and happy. And I have no doubt, I know that I am whole, I am perfect, I am strong, I am powerful, I am lovely, I'm harmonious and happy. Those aren't things that I have to say, well, maybe I could be. No, I am those things. And the more that I've trusted that is my belief, that is my knowing, and I have no doubt, the universe has nothing other to do other than bring the situations in my life that show me that I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, lovely, harmonious, and happy.
Absolutely.
Because I'm not focusing on any particular anything. I'm just, this is what I am.
And it's a daily practice. That's why in those ways of living, Buddhism and Hinduism and Zen and all the different ones, they call it practice. You do your daily practice, like a doctor practices.
Everybody practices. A lawyer practices law. A yogi practices yoga.
Yeah.
A banker practices numbers, I guess. I don't know, but you have to practice something to get good at it. And
right.
that's what I think is miffing to a lot of people that are hearing about law of attraction and hearing about your thoughts can create your reality. They get in and they do it once and they're like, well, that didn't work. Well, it's a practice.
It's a lifelong practice.
It's a lifelong practice, something that you're never going to achieve. You're never going to finish. And I was listening, you'll never be done and you'll never be wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was so profound to me. I was listening to Abraham the other day and it blew my mind, because so many people that have not woken up or become aware of the things that are natural law they're still fighting. They're like, no, but people are this and people are that, and life comes at me sideways. And well, it happens because that's what your belief is. If you
Right.
change your belief, but getting somebody to actually be open enough to take something in and then let it do what it does and do some transformation work.
Right.
And that's the only thing that we need to do is be open enough to allow those words to come in and transform us.
Mhm.
And it's a practice. And
Yes.
you gotta do it all the time. And you have to, that's why the Bible says, pray without ceasing. That's your thoughts. Be in constant awareness of your thoughts, because if you let them just go down, you're going to create a life of shit that you didn't want.
Right.
But
What we're experiencing now on this planet, in this physical reality, is something that's been here for millennia. There is some form, some energy in the shadows, in the darkness, that wants the people in this physical reality to feel that they're weak and that they're wrong. And it's a very heavily entrenched paradigm. So the practice of replacing the thought is very important.
And it is. Okay, Alan, I know you and your Southern Baptist, that today was a bit of a lot of stuff, the Ten Commandments.
I was gonna say that.
I
It's-
know
like
you.
that.
I know you. I
it's
love
a-
you.
Right. And that's
Good
part of,
shift.
yeah, that's part of the paradigm.
It's a shift.
10 Commandments.
No.
See, whatever that dark side wants, they
Here.
want us to feel that those are commandments, that we
Yeah.
are being controlled, that we are weak, that we are not in control or creating,
Mm-hmm.
right? Rather than calling them commandments, they should be principles to live by.
Well, they said it was commitments
Commitments, yeah, that's the word.
of
they
God
use,
to
yeah, right.
us.
Right, rather
You
than
know?
commandments.
They're not commandments. How can you command something that you've given free will to? Is that not the contrary? That's the opposite. That's not.
That's a good
You
point.
gave free will. How can you command somebody to do something that you gave free will to? Those two don't compute.
Mhm.
They don't work for me. And for so long of my life, I believed into that. Now, do I think it's okay to murder or steal or, be jealous? Those aren't things that make me feel good. So again, it's just a guidance system. It's not even. But if there's some people, Hitler, for example, that made him feel good, so he did it. We all are doing our best.
Mhm.
And our best is based on our perceptions,
Our
which was
perception.
based on our experiences. So our best is going to be different for every single person on this planet. So how can God, who gave us that ability to do our best and who gave us that ability to just create everything, why would they kind of push us in a box? It makes no sense. You
Yeah,
don't push
it makes
artists into a
sense.
box.
But we live in a world in a continuum of duality,
Absolutely.
right? It's not a oneness like other dimensions may be. No, I have experienced other dimensions of non-duality, of oneness, and I know that they're there.
Ah.
Okay, we are living in this system of opposites.
Absolutely.
You know, anything you can think of has an opposite. So that's the duality, and that's what makes it a struggle to come to the point where you know that you don't have to be a victim of that anymore.
I think that's a big shift in mentality and mindset. I know that shifted me dramatically, is to hear somebody tell me, because we all have these words and sentences, if we allow them, they will shift our trajectory in major, major ways.
Absolutely.
And I remember having a coaching session with this woman. It wasn't even a session. It was just, let me see if I can work with you. And she told me, it was after my divorce, and she's like, I want you to do something tonight. I want you to get a bath. I want you to relax. And I want you to realize you're not a victim. And I want you, let's talk again tomorrow. Well, she called me again the next day. I had such an epiphany that I was blaming everything that had happened, and I was a victim of it. And I don't know, something in that, it shifted me. It shifted my perception. It shifted everything. And the next day she called me, expecting to have this coaching call. And she's like, within 2 minutes, she's like, that energy's gone. It's gone, and you don't need me anymore. And I never had a coaching session with her, and I've never felt a victim mentality anymore, because I know that I create my reality.
You do create your reality. That's
and
a
whatever it
universal
is,
fact.
I need to learn from. Okay, if it's something that's undesirable, why? What is going on inside of me that's putting this in front of me? What do I need to look at internally? It's not somebody else's fault I'm mad. I'm mad because that's triggering me. Okay, why is that triggering me? And that's that practice. Instead of letting our mind run free with all this, I fucked up, I did this, oh, I'm horrible, I'm a bad person, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's practicing the wrong stuff, and it's going to get you a whole lot of crap.
Right, that's a practice too.
But that's what I'm saying.
It's a practice that's going to hold you back and make your life not as enjoyable.
But most people have that practice that I've
Yes,
experienced.
They do, absolutely. And that paradigm is so ingrained into our physical reality.
Yeah, it is.
Where did it come from? I don't think that even matters, but I do question it, Where did it come from? Because the universe is good. But then again, we're in a duality.
We are. Well,
there has to be, if there's light, there has to be darkness.
There has to be, so we can experience both. But so many people are ingrained in the TV and what it tells them, and it's not just the news, it's the TV shows, it's the music that's being played.
When we want your opinion, we will give it to you.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, it's just mind-blowing to me that people can't see. And it's my sincere goal and desire and passion to just help share what has helped me so much. And that's my intention, is to share what I've learned to help others realize you don't have to live in misery and doubt and fear and struggle. And you can live in heaven or hell on earth. But you have a choice. And I've gotten to a place in my life where even when I'm going through some of the deepest, darkest, it's not something that takes me down a dark path anymore. It's just something that's like, okay, that sucked. Let's go. Let's move forward. I don't sit and dwell in those things. I don't find myself getting stressed over daily things anymore. Okay, that's what we're doing now. Whatever. That goes with traffic. That goes with idiots at the grocery store. It goes with whatever. And I say that with love because everybody's on their journey. I say that with this mask thing that's coming back up again, and I'm like, I didn't comply the first time, I'm not going to comply this time. But I'm seeing that, and I made a post. I commented on somebody's post on Instagram, and all I said was, they didn't work the first time in the first pandemic. Why would they work now?
Right.
And it's got over 1,500 people that have liked that comment, but there's 100 people that have commented on it, felt the need to comment and tell me I was wrong. And I'm like, I was just making a statement that was factual to my perception of what's happening. But there's people that are still living in fear. here and still traumatized and calling me a moron for not wearing a mask, and I'm
Right.
No, we're
they're
always
still-
going to have that.
They're still listening to CNN, they're still watching CNN. You know, I've turned my back on all legacy media that's corporate owned.
Yeah, it's...
And you know, every piece of media, corporate owned media on this planet is owned by 5 interests.
Yeah, I know.
5.
And they run everything. But
How easy is it to get a consensus of 5 people rather than several hundred?
Yeah.
You know?
And it's funny
And
because,
they have a narrative.
yes, my mother's even starting to see it, and she didn't see it before, but now she's starting to see it because she watches the news all day long, and she flips. She'll watch Fox, but she'll go see what they're saying on CNN, and she's like, they parrot each other. It's all parroted. They're all, and it, I don't want to get on that topic, but that's why there's such a duality. That's why there's such sadness and fear and doubt, because people, their mind tends to want to go in that habit, and it's so much, when you hear a negative thing, you tend to, that's the way our mind goes, you want to talk about it and bring it up and talk
And
about
there's
it.
a lot of reinforcement for it.
Yes,
and-
but
and-
positive,
And media.
it's, yeah, that, you know, there was I was listening to Abraham, and she was saying that TV is on, and if you were to watch the news, you think that the world is going to hell in a handbasket.
Mhm.
But if you were to play continuously things that were good, and that, you know, in real time of the things that were actually happening in the world,
Oh.
the negative would be a blip in the day.
Mhm.
There's that much good going on in the world, but the news focuses on everything to make people think that it's horrible.
Yeah.
You know,
The corporate news, the corporate owned
yeah,
legacy.
yeah, but I
media.
I've learned that I don't need to get involved in any of it. I just don't. I need to do what feels good to me.
You need to do what you said earlier, is to help people see that they aren't victims.
Yeah, because that's so powerful. When you get out of that victim mindset and, oh, woe is me. If you think woe is me and you think that life sucks, it's going to continue to suck for you. And it's not until you decide that you're worthy and that you love yourself enough to be the one, because you're the only one, that can interrupt your thoughts and start to build new train tracks. If you don't ever stop and interrupt your train, you will continue to go down negative trail.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it works.
And you need to get away from the purveyors of fear.
This morning I had a phone call from somebody who lives in a state of fear, and oh, I'm looking for something.
What state is that?
And
I thought that.
She called
Just
me.
kidding.
Oh shit, that's not it.
The state of fear, let's see, New York,
No,
California?
no, here in my neighborhood. No, there was a choking this morning,
I know.
and she called me freaking out, worrying. Are you and Taylor okay? Are you safe? And I'm like, that had nothing to do with me. Does not affect me at all.
What, she just have a feeling that something was wrong?
No, somebody got choked on the front patio, the front porch of our buildings this morning. And so my son saw a woman with purple face and blonde hair.
Mhm.
And there was a cop and an ambulance and all that. So somebody that I know called me out of fear to get me to be scared about where I live. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with me. That's isolated. It's not just some random person coming and choke somebody. It's somebody who's in a relationship and got pissed. That can happen anywhere. That can happen in the fanciest of neighborhoods.
Right.
That has nothing to do with where I live.
That wasn't a random choker looking for a victim.
No. And the same thing, because we had a shooting the other night in my neighborhood. And my son heard the shot. But again, not a damn thing to do with me.
Mhm.
And I'm not nervous. I'm not fearful, because again, that can happen anywhere. It wasn't some random guy coming in and shooting somebody. It
Right.
was something that they got pissed at. That's them. That had nothing to do with me.
Right.
There's 850 other people in this neighborhood, and They sleep fine at night. So I'm going to be scared because of that one? Really? I don't live that way.
That's what the corporate news does. It takes that one little incident somewhere and blows it up into a worldwide fear wave and gives it to whoever will accept it.
Yeah. And that's the whole point. That's where our foods come in play. They're keeping, and sunscreen, and they're stay inside, getting our vibration down. Because when your vibration is down, you are living in that fear and that doubt and that frustration, and
it's hard to pull yourself out.
You're a lot less creative. You're not creating your reality. You're not creating a good reality. You're creating more of the same. And out of, I want to be a conscious creator. I want to consciously create, and I'm starting to see it in things that have happened recently. I'm starting to see that I'm consciously creating the reality. And that is giving me even more comfort in knowing that the visions that I have for my future that seem so holy shit crazy, I know that that's mine. I know that that's mine. I have no doubt. I have no fear. And I will continue to remove people in my life that don't believe that don't think that because I'm not going to surround myself with people that are going to...
Their energy
they can shift mine.
Can interrupt yours.
And I'm not interested in that. So I surround myself with people that...
And don't feel guilty about getting them out of your life either.
No, I don't.
Just let them go.
Yeah. And that's part of that I am again, because when you realize who you are, anything that's not helping you get there or maintain it, that it don't need to go. It needs to go. It needs to leave the building. And we need to learn to let it go easily, because when we talked about resistance and resisting is how you hold on to stuff.
Mm-hmm. And
when we let stuff go,
yeah, that was a good point.
That really profound. Alan, you're being really quiet today.
I'm drinking it all in.
I know this was a lot for you. I know your beliefs, and I know that was a lot of little chings in your armor of
I covered a whole lot of subjects.
Yeah, today was, and that was only 9 chapters, so that's why I stopped it. I was like, that's a lot.
Yeah, you can get buried in them to where you don't remember all the pertinent points.
Well, that's why I take notes.
Well, one thing I would like some feedback on, and obviously if we're trying to rid ourselves of these paradigms that well-meaning people have handed to us as well-meaning actions, obviously parents or teachers or whatever. And as we're going down life's path, as I've shared in the, previously, a lot of times it's square pegs and round holes. So you have to kind of think out of the box. But one of the things about the 10 commitments is whenever the statement was talk about murder. And obviously I think we all have an agreement when it comes to not murdering your fellow man. But question, because I never even thought about this to take it maybe to a different level. There are a lot of vegans because they embrace the thought of killing animals is within itself murder and is kind of contrary of what we're all about from being love and peaceful.
If I eat this, am I killing it?
Well, that would be...
That's how I look at it.
So I can see that from an animal or something that was breeding or intelligence or whatever, but then how far do you take that? Because from a plant standpoint, at what point do we want to experience love, and does that include eating an apple or an orange or something like that? That was kind of interesting. I certainly can see and maybe even support the vegan aspect of it, but when it comes down to vegan, there's still a requirement for sustenance from us from a, I'm just curious, any thoughts or feedbacks? How far would you take that, or would it be reasonable, embracing love from that do not murder standpoint?
Okay, well, that's very easily explained because in a word, it discusses you do what feels right to you. If you want to eat meat and it feels good to you, you do it. But if you're around somebody that it bothers, respect them. But if it feels good to you, that's why there's so many people that do really well on keto and they eat only meat. They can't imagine, and they're doing great. There's people that only eat bananas, for God's sakes, and they're doing great. Do what works for you. There is no right or wrong. That's the whole thing. There is no right or wrong. There is no judgment. You can't fuck it up. If you want to be a vegan and you have a steak one day, you didn't mess up.
So then, with that being said,
there should be no guilt or shame.
I always run through the woods with a hair on fire. So in that statement, if I belong to a Pacific Island cannibalistic tribe, and I like and enjoy,
then that's
my
what works
fellow
for
man.
you. You like and enjoy your fellow man.
If you remember when they talked about that.
Yeah, that's a whole new meaning. I could just eat you up, you know.
I love you, Alan.
When that point was brought up about not murdering, one of the things that went by, and it went by pretty quick, is unless it's necessary.
I picked up on that, or with reason or something like that. But
Yeah, something on those lines. Now I've never heard that coupled with it, but it makes sense. I mean, if there's a person standing in front of you who has a knife and they want to disembowel you, and you have the skill to take it from them and stop them, then that's
absolutely
necessary.
Yeah,
we have that self-preservation instinct in us, and it's for a reason, because we're not meant to be killed. We're here to thrive, and we're here to be here until we're not anymore, but not to go out in a bad means, not to go out by killing ourselves or to be killed. But there's evil in the world that wants to do that, but we have a right to defend ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And again, there's no guilt or shame. I don't know that they've talked about it in the book yet, but there's no guilt or shame, because guilt or shame is based on the premise that something's wrong.
Yeah, it's love.
And if there's no judgment, if the creator of everything that gave me the right to create doesn't judge and gave me free will, how can it judge me? Why would there be any guilt or shame if there's nothing to judge and there's nothing right or wrong?
Guilt or shame implies
that you've done
that
something
there's
wrong.
been judgment.
And you've judged yourself or others for being wrong. And there is no judgment.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what you believe, there's no judgment. Jesus came and changed the covenant. There's no judgment. So if you believe in Christianity, or if you believe in Buddhism, or if you believe in Hindu, they all say the same thing, because God speaks through people. We all have that spirit. And that's why all the things in the world, the masters and the teachers, and they all say the same thing going back millennia. Because God is the same now, together, forever. It doesn't change. Those same principles. If it's men have come in and it's like, well, I want to, that's not good enough for me. I want to do some fear. And that's where Christianity, they changed it. They changed the word to induce fear in 300s, AD. I have it written down.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think I've shared previously. One of the realizations that I've had is whenever there's judgment involved, we are the source of our own suffering. Because if there is no judgment, there is no suffering. We don't judge anything. And with judgment, too, as a spring-off source of that, is when we judge, we usually set expectations. okay? And it's, when we set expectations, we are now the source of our own.
Yeah, expectations are a real sticky thing.
Yeah, we're not to have those. We're here literally to create, to design, to think it up, and then have fun. And that is so hard for so many people. They think they have to keep creating and keep working towards that goal and striving. I haven't got it yet, so I need to work myself to the bone. I haven't got it yet. I got to work so hard. You're just pushing it away. You're pushing your dreams away by that.
That's a judgment that you're not doing enough.
Yeah, and we need to learn to
That's a good
relax.
point.
That's why I write it all over my fucking house. Relax. Relax, 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 relax. Flow.
You better relax. You know,
It's just a reminder.
you must relax.
That's why I have
That's
that,
the oxymoron that I
you know,
like.
you'll never be done and you can't get it wrong.
Like I want patience, I'm
Right.
like, right now.
And you can't
Well-
get patience because you're going to get the things that cause you to learn patience. And then you're like, but I asked for patience. Well, you're getting to experience patience. Is that not what you wanted? You're getting another opportunity to experience what you asked for. If you don't want to have to experience patience, stop asking for patience.
Unless you were born into a family who feels like the conversation is going today, and then you stay insulated from society at large, it's easier to realize these things. But unfortunately, 99% of us are born into the paradigm that keeps us down, that keeps us weak, that keeps us separate from God. Okay? When I picture how I'm entwined with God, picture a goblet of water and put a drop of ink in it and stir. Okay? That's, the ink is me, God is the water, there's
no separation.
right. And that paradigm is handed down worldwide that it is. There is a separation, except for a few select, and I don't want to call them religions like Buddhism and Hinduism, Sufism. That they tell you that you're not separate. But anything that has to do with Christianity, and I think Christianity over millennia has been bent and made
Absolutely.
into a
It's been
tool
bent.
for whatever king rewrote the Bible.
Absolutely.
But
Agreed.
unless you're totally insulated from society and paradigm at large, it is a daily practice you must do
Absolutely.
if you decide that you're going to change the way your life is.
Well, you know, what we focus on is what we get more of, and our brain tends to focus on the negative. That's already been discussed. The most important work we can do is focusing our mind on good and learning to
Absolutely.
focus on the good. That is the work
And
that we need to do, because everything will
bringing
come
yourself
to
back to it. Keep bringing
Keep
yourself
bringing
back
yourself.
to it.
That's what meditation is. That's so important.
You just took the words right out of my mouth.
Meditation stops that forward momentum and allows you to just, okay, start over, fresh.
But
Fresh
that's the practice I was speaking of, because with meditation, you have what I call thought tsunamis. Okay, you get to where whatever you use, your breath is one of the best things. You get to where you're really with your breath, and then this thought tsunami comes in. So you have to pull yourself back to your breath, and it's a constant
And that's
bringing it
normal.
back, bringing it back, bringing it back, and that's the practice.
Yes.
I'm going to have to borrow that. I like that statement, thoughts and tsunamis. I mean, that just describes it so perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And it passes, and then you go, oh, wait a minute, I was meditating.
Yeah, it's like,
You
oh
know?
wait, breathing
So
in,
then you go back to
breathing
your
out.
abdomen and watch your breath, or the point of your nose, or whatever you use.
Yeah, the point of meditation is to stop the resistance. You know, when we wake up in the morning, we don't have resistance, but we're going to continue on the train that we were at when we went to bed. So that's why it's so important to get some clear intentions and to focus. I say that mantra at night before I go to sleep every night. I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, lovely, harmonious, and happy. And I get in a place, I go to sleep feeling good. I wake up, I say those things before I even open my eyes.
No.
That's my habit.
Good.
That's
That's a
what
good
I
habit.
do.
That's a good habit to have.
It is so impactful in how I feel throughout the day. I have an intentions journal, and I'm not real. I got 10 journals throughout the house. Right now I'm working through the front and the back of this notepad because I got 2 things going on. I'm spending insane amounts of money every day. I'm up to spending $8,000 a day, and you know what that's do? That's training me to see things that I, wouldn't normally see, and I'm able to say, this is what I would like to do. When I have $8,000, this is how I'm spending it. In I think 5 days, it'll be day 120, and I'm going to $16,000 a day. Because if I can't physically spend it in my head, if I can't plan to spend that money, I'm never going to get that money. To be able to donate to, my old church, and to be able to go see my friend, and to be able to, pay for some homeless meals, and to get some plants at the nursery, and to donate to First Love Church, and to put down payments on my rental homes, and these are the things I have to be able to visualize it. And this is such a tool.
Visualization. Absolutely.
You've got to visualize. You've got to see it as possible.
Thought, word, deed.
Yeah, this is the deed. I'm spending that money. I spend that. I've got a journal every day. I spend. It's gone up. It's gone from $1,000 a day, $2,000, $4,000, $8,000. Now I'm at $6,000. But I'm consistent with this because I know the power of my subconscious mind, and I know that I look forward to spending this money every day. And I know that by feeling good and doing this, that's making it come. And that is the magic.
Run, get killed.
And it's so funny because my intention, I've always said that when I have the beach house, I'll have so much income. I'm not working. I'm going to have all this income coming in, and I'm going to give away 90% of it because who needs that much money? I want to have it to be able to do good in the world and live like a little princess because I deserve it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't feel guilty about that. And that is a mindset that I had to get over. That's why I do this, because I used to think, oh, that's too expensive. Oh, I can't afford that. I've had to totally transform my mind because every time I say it, I can't afford that. That's telling me that I can't afford that, and that's going to bring more things into my life to make it where I can't afford that. So instead, I go to Nordstrom's and I go to Dillard's and I walk through there, and I have a credit card right now that has $400 available on it. And I go through there and I'm like, I could buy that. That's pretty. I could have that. I could have that. It's a shift of what I can. And it's more of, I'm not buying it, but I'm spending it with my mind.
Right.
I'm saying, I can have that. I can have that. Thank you for that and more. And it's, again, a freaking practice. People can go from doing and having nothing and negative life to doing and having everything they want with the shifting of your thoughts. And I always suggest starting with gratitude because we can always find something to be grateful for.
That was also part of the deal tonight today too, was gratitude.
It's so powerful. Gratitude and appreciation for where you are, and in the truth and knowing that what you dream is already yours. It's done. 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 You can't say it's done enough because it's done. And that new thought that you have, it's done too. It's just waiting on you to line up with it. And then that door's going to open. And the more that we focus on the feeling good and the knowing that that's coming to me, and just feeling good knowing. Don't give that, well, I have to do this. And I found myself doing that the other day because, just knowing that the income is there, and I started doing a little cleaning business, and then And I'm not cheap. And I'm not trying to be cheap. That's not my intention. And I had some lady, and she hired me. And I do a deep cleaning. The first time it took a little longer. And she booked me for the next 2 weeks. And then she called me like the next day. And she says, I think I'm just going to use a cleaning thing. And I was like, for a half a second, I was like, what am I going to do? No, that's fine. That means that something else better is coming. I've just wired myself enough to know that I can't, giving that any energy is going to push something away.
Mm-hmm.
So just let it be. Like, oh, okay. Well, thanks for letting me know. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And everything just comes to me, and I'm seeing things just come to me. I'm seeing just life be so freaking beautiful because I'm looking for the beauty in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm focusing on the good, and I'm focusing on getting stuff out. You know, I got my journal here, my back to front journal. You ever done that, right from the back forward? And I'm flipping this way and then this way.
No, but that's a great idea.
Yeah, because
You
I
can
wanted
have-
to use the front
Yeah, you
for
can.
that, and I was like, well, I'll just use the back for that. When I meet in the middle, I'll do a new notebook.
Yeah. Now, next time you do one of those, have it flipped over when you start from the back.
Ah,
So you really know when you're deep in the middle.
I hear you. No, but I have a journal that what started all my journaling right after. I was looking for it. It's not down here. I think it's upstairs. But it's just one that my friend gave me right after I left the husband. And I decided that I was going to start writing in that particular journal everything I was grateful for. And I wrote in that journal every day for a year. And some days I would have one thing because I was having a bad day. And other days I'd write for pages. But I can go back and look at that journal now
Mm-hmm.
and know that created a shift in my life. That was profound. And it was because I didn't focus on the pain I was in. I chose to focus on the good that was coming from it. And I'm so glad I did that. Because that has started, I've got freaking 30 journals. Because I will just grab any notebook and start writing. And most of it's just positive aspects of life. There's very few times that I feel the need to vent in my journal because I know that those words are creating more of the same. So why the fuck would I write it down? I'm going to write down what I'm grateful for when something doesn't go the way I want. I'm grateful that this happened. I'm grateful that this happened. And it's more of those I am. I am grateful instead of I'm pissed.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I don't ever want to be pissed.
I need to leave this conversation now.
That's okay, because I got to get ready to go to my mama's.
Yeah, and I do too. I've got